Yuri.
Hello, hello. How are you doing?
Thank you. Doing well.
Happy New
How are
Year.
you? Yeah, Happy New Year and Baptist Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas is long time gone.
Yeah,
You're in Germany, right? What city?
yes, in Germany, in
In what city?
Nuremberg.
Oh, Nuremberg. Yeah, I mean, I never been to Nuremberg.
Uh, you know, where you been in Germany?
Well, I've been to Germany, actually. Yeah, and we actually liked it a lot.
Excuse me, which city?
Well, we've been in different cities. We actually flew to Frankfurt,
Oh,
and
Frankfurt.
and
It's
we
one.
drove from like through different cities to Munich. So we've been to different cities.
Oh, okay, like Würzburg or something like
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm. What is it? Is also in Ingolstadt or and
I don't remember all names.
yeah, it's all around. Yeah.
I haven't seen Nathan lately. Is he working?
He just got called uh right after uh weekends. Oh, holidays.
Okay.
So he's probably on sick.
Hey guys, good to see you.
Good to see you, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
So I have a brief update, nothing super interesting. Did someone have a topic they wanted to go over, or
No topics. Just um one PR is expecting for review.
yeah, I saw that. I was just looking at them a couple minutes ago. It looks fine to me. I put a reviewed by Mark on it. Okay. So Red Hat had a meeting yesterday with one of our QE leads to talk about how we want to do rook testing. Unfortunately, I didn't get as far along as I wanted to for it, or even for this meeting. But I'm planning today to get an actual interface written out for Truthology deployers. The one we have right now being, our SSH-based thing that goes and deploys Ceph and manages the daemons, and then the existing Ansible one that doesn't actually satisfy quite the same interface. But I want to write down what the interface is that we need to be fully compatible. Look for that email coming out today, I hope, or else tomorrow, I guess, maybe. So I can start actually manipulating the Ansible code and talking to the Rook people about whether that's a feasible thing to try and build on top of the existing Rook stuff, which I don't anticipate being a problem, but is always good to check. Other than that, I don't think there's a lot of excitement going on in the world of testing that I'm aware of. Yuri, you got anything for us?
Not in terms of kind of like exciting stuff. I am crunching
You're worried
through.
about?
I wonder. So, who did you have meeting with?
Vasu asked for it because
Oh,
we're getting we're getting ready to talk about it from our downstream product perspective, and so it's coming into his plate.
Okay, I got it.
Some of the upstream build people and stuff, or not upstream, but downstream and upstream Red Hat build people.
Nothing too exciting, right? So trying to, we finally pushed Mimic 13 dot whatever dot 2.3, and it was a little bit of snafu, I guess. And then, so I'm looking into Luminous, and we're getting close to Nautilus, right? So that's all excitement.
By the way, I saw a T-shirt for a Mimic, and I saw names on the back of it, and one of them was like root user, I guess, and it was a root.
Oh.
And another one was bean shell, a path to the shell.
Where did you see it?
On a T-shirt, there's a list of names who contributed to the Mimic.
Okay, that's cool.
Have you seen it? No?
No, I never get to see any of this.
I think if you go to a conference, then they'll give you like a mailer or a code you can use to order them, or if you poke around at the right people and say, hey, why don't I get one as a contributor, then they'll hook you up. Okay. Sebastian, did you have anything you want to talk about, or are you just listening in? I'm not hearing anything, Sebastian.
Okay, now?
Yes.
I gotcha.
Perfect. So, this is also looking into testing Rook, deploying Ceph. So, if you have something that can be shared, then we are also interested in that.
I'll email Scepter as soon as I do. We haven't done anything real serious yet. We were just, yesterday internally, we were just like, our QP wanted to know what Rook does in the upstream. And, I tend to assume that for Ceph, we want to integrate it into Teuthology, but people periodically say, hey, maybe we should replace Teuthology. And so they're like, do we want to go to Rook's thing? No, we don't want to go to Rook's thing.
Yeah, I think the lack of integration into Teuthology is the reason that we first look into just using Rook to deploy a Ceph cluster and executing some simple stuff on a bash shell, for example, without directly using tautology for that. At least that's our first idea.
Yeah, but I'm hopeful that we can just get it a deployer and use it inside.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
People will need to allocate enough time to actually make it happen, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
A major push, and I think, I don't know about SUSE, but like Red Hat's people, I think have gotten tired of not doing end-to-end testing with our stuff Ansible, and we've seen enough issues with not testing that end-to-end that we don't really want to do that on our next one. So should happen.
So we all have the Rook Orchestrator. Would that mean that we then can test the Rook Orchestrator also from within tautology?
I mean, I'm not writing any orchestrator tests in Teuthology right now. I sure hope the people writing those do them, in which case, yeah, like I don't know why that wouldn't work. It would need.
I think the only real requirement is that the manager itself is running within a Docker container managed by Rook.
Yeah, so I mean, my assumption would be that both Teuthology and the manager orchestrator would be issuing kubectl commands again and pointing at the thing. So yes, that once we have it set up, I assume that would work fine.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And I don't know if we'll be able to share any of that code. I suspect not, but maybe. I totally plan
yeah,
to.
but
Oh, jeez. Keep track of that.
right now, Deflaton cannot test anything at all
Here.
that he
Okay.
does within the orchestrator. It's a shame.
All right, Gregory, how are people testing the orchestrators right now? I don't know what anyone's doing. Or is it all just manual?
Testing orchestrator is not really possible with tautology at all.
No.
So,
well, I mean, like the SSH-based ones should work, right? Because it's all set up for access.
That would be the first one that we really should hook into tautology, because tautology itself uses SSH to deploy things, as far as I could see. So, what would be required for the SSH orchestrator would be to allow the manager to SSH into other machines and execute something like the volume inventory, for example.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure. I think that doesn't work now, but I don't think there's anything that prevents you from doing it within like Teuthology setup scripts to ship the manager the keys it needs to get in. Yeah. Go.
Maybe you can talk to Noah if he wants to integrate his SSH orchestrator into tautology.
Yeah, or I guess because Nathan or Noah Watkins. Oh, that's who you meant, Noah. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Didn't someone from SUSE just have one as well? Was that Ricardo? But,
yeah, Ricardo also had an SSH orchestrator, but that was mainly used for developing the dashboard.
Okay.
And they really virtually do the same thing.
Well, I'll poke at Noah about getting some tests integrated, because yes, that's a thing that needs to happen.
Having that would be awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, the missing tests for all Orchestrator is a big pain right now.
Do we have any others that exist yet? I thought it was still just like interfaces being, and the SSH one was the first one that anyone had actually done.
No, the Ansible Orchestrator also works. So you can deploy OSDs, for example. Well, that PO is not merged yet, but it does work right now.
Okay.
We have an existing working Ansible Orchestrator, but really virtually no way to test it.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
Having a big code base that is not testable is, yeah, not that great.
Okay. Cool.
Gregory, I have a question to you regarding the effort you are doing right now.
Regarding the what?
The deployment stuff, like replacement for CM Ansible, right?
I really don't have a lot of code written yet. That's why I was saying I want to actually write down. I did a comparison at before we went on break.
Do you have some ETA? When will you have something which we can look at?
Not past actually writing down an interface. This is all just taking longer for me to actually spend time on, and longer when I spend time on it than I expect, because I don't know.
Do you
I'm
have
really not a very good Python developer, but
do you have some design document, like graph design or something?
It's all pretty verbal in my head right now. I'll send out this interface email. That'll be, I think, a good point to start with, and that'll be today, I hope, or tomorrow in the worst case, and should get me going faster.
Yeah, it would be great to have to read it.
Yeah, I fell farther behind on this than I wanted. I'm sorry. All right. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, one thing. Do we have a documentation what's the workflow of testing upstream pull requests? I know that SUSE has an internal documentation how to do that, but is there an don't know, upstream version of a workflow how to push things to Ceph CI and then trigger tautology by example some example lines?
We don't have that. We have I'm using kind of process, and I have a cheat sheet in terms of how to do things. And we've talked about that, and I think Josh wanted maybe to automate some stuff around things. But generally speaking, we don't have it. Why would we want to have it? You want more people be able to test it?
Maybe to prevent errors.
So I can follow up on this question.
You just mean like what people do day to day to test stuff, like PRs before they go in, or? Yeah, I don't think we really do.
Sebastian, there is a unit test that are running automatically when you raise a PR. But there's some, and someone is just looking if is broken on the live system, and they then fix it. So as for downstream,
that's the fixology
as for downstream, I have created inside our organization a Jenkins job, which is similar to tautology, just instantiated a new instance of tautology in OpenStack, like in ECP, and it's possible to use OVH, and it's run like basic tests, like dummy, or some SUSE dummy suite, which we have only downstream recently, and Nathan is working on the deep sea job very extensively, and the plans or next plans is to push it upstream. And from other side, I'm working on the Ansible stuff to make it possible to deploy tautology to OpenSUSE based distros. So, and as far as I have a Ansible at some point working scripts, I will be able to start preparing a pull request for upstream, so we can use this for regular testing of the tautology itself.
Okay. Thanks.
There is also a development workflow file in the dev directory of the docs, and I'm trying to find the actual URL here.
The problem is that there is a lot of infrastructure stuff in upstream topology because it requires the DNS configured somewhere and some other stuff, some other services which we do not have for OpenStack backend that we use, the old OpenStack backend that we use for downstream.
Yeah.
So, and there is a difference.
That's for the topology testing. I think Sebastian was asking about the Ceph testing workflow, and I mean,
yeah, mainly about upstream.
They're all just sort of passed on as people need them, but there's a very broad overview about how stuff gets merged. Like, yes, okay, you submit a PR, and then when a reviewer is happy with it, people merge it into their integration branches for testing, and when that passes, then it merges. And
yeah, and
had more specific questions, Sebastian, than I guess. Are you worried about setting up a workflow in the orchestrators that matches the rest of the project, or?
Yeah, Laura, for example, has a set of commands that she executes when testing dashboard PRs, and I'm using these as a template basically to test Orchestrator PRs.
Yeah. So I mean, if you have questions, that means that we probably, well, it might just mean that we should have a conversation on the mailing list or IRC or whatever, but it might also mean that we need to write more stuff down. And so it'd be like, if you can write down your questions, then we can maybe like discuss them and then prepare a document with that.
Okay, super.
Because,
Will do.
like, we don't know what we need to write down because we don't need it written down anymore. We don't set up whole new projects that often.
We wanted to iron stuff around. How do we know what suites to run on a particular PRs? But generally speaking, like steps are pretty generic. So you take set of PRs, you tag them for a specific whip, and then we have a script that we can pull them together and merge into particular whip branch, whether it's Mimic or Luminous. And there are some like bumps to jump over. Like for example, if you want to build Mimic and Luminous, you have to have a name in the whip branch so it builds correctly. And then you push it into CI for building, and you run make check, and then you run suites on them. And that's like run suites on them. It's a little bit tricky because you need to know. Right now we don't have real concrete system in terms of how do you know what suites to run. And we've been talking about like that if we formalize it and if we say that like every PR has a pretty good kind of label that indicates what to run, that would be useful. But that's essentially the whole process.
Okay. Yeah.
And then you approve it. And then you approve it. I think people been like chatting for a while, for many like several years, how to automate it. How can you do that stuff without human being interaction? Like for example, on my part, it's probably most of my time going through this process and testing them. And once we go through integration, like bunch of PRs that considered to be for next release, that's we say integration testing is done, and we release it for QE validation. And that's again doing that.
Yeah, thanks, Yuri.
Sure. I never thought that anybody would be interested in that, but that's cool.
All right. It sounds like that's all I've got for today. So thanks very much, guys. I will see you next week.
Yep. Take care.
Bye. You ask questions. All right. Cool. Bye all.
Bye.